So hey everyone, and in this video we are going to learn about Express.js. So Express.js, often simply referred to as Express, is popular and minimalistic web application framework for Node.js. So it's again used in the backend along with Node.js. It is designed to simplify the process of building web applications and APIs by providing a set of features and tools for handling the routing, middleware, and HTTP requests and responses. So now let's understand why we actually use Express.js along with Node.js. So first of all, there is a confusion between people that Express.js is a very big thing and you need to learn it separately. No, it's not a very big skill or thing. It's actually like if you're learning Node.js and you are building some APIs in Node.js, that is, suppose you want to create a user, read a user, update a user, delete a user. So you can either create those APIs in Node.js, or you can just use Express.js inside Node.js for a easier approach. Okay, so what Express.js does is, if suppose you are writing 10 lines in Node.js, you would be writing 5 lines in Express.js. That means it just makes the code a lot easier, and I think it makes your development journey way more faster. Okay, so if you want to develop something and if you are using Node.js, plain Node.js, then it would be taking some more time, and if you are just using Express.js, then it's taking less time. Okay, so simplicity, it provides the simplicity. The code which is very complicated in normal Node.js would be much easier in Express.js. Then it again provides the functionality for middleware, so you can actually use middlewares in Express.js, which was not easily available in normal Node.js. Then it allows us to make routing a way more easy. Then Express.js makes routing very easier. If you have watched my previous video and we did some basics of routing, and you know that it's very, like, if you had some complex routes, that approach, if else approach, won't be very great. Okay, so we actually use Express.js. Normally if you are learning Node.js, you won't be writing the Node.js code, you would be writing the Express.js code inside Node.js. Okay, then we have a very good community. It gives high performance and it's very versatile, commonly used for building the backend and APIs. And its integration is very easy. You just need to import it, then you just need to use the APIs. Like, you need to create the APIs, get, post, patch, delete, like that, and then you can easily make your routes and APIs. Then the active development is very fast. That means from past few years, Express.js is very popular and it's kept on updating. So there might be some new features in future, but definitely right now we have some things which are always common in Express.js. So we are going to learn that. So Express.js is a popular choice for developers who want to keep a website which is easy, like if you are building a backend, easy to understand, and if there is some new developer, that guy also can easily understand that. Okay, so it provides simplicity, flexibility, and robust feature set. However, it's worth nothing that the JavaScript ecosystem is continually evolving. However, it's worth noting that JavaScript ecosystem is continually However, it's worth noting that the JavaScript ecosystem is continuously evolving, so it's a good idea to stay up to date with the latest developments and consider whether Express.js is the best fit for your project needs. But since we are learning Merge Stack, so in Merge Stack we actually use Express.js. So guys, now I'll be explaining you the difference between a code in Node.js which does not contain Express.js, and if it contains Express.js, what's the difference? That means how many lines, and is the code easier or it became more difficult? You will see now. So guys, here I'm going to create a new folder and let me just name it as expresstut. Okay, so inside this we are going to open VS Code, and let me just create a test file, so test.js. And you can assume that this is my Node.js backend. You don't need to understand the complete code, but just watch the complexity. So you can see here I've just created a get post operation. So you can see, first of all, it's allowing me to get all users. Okay, from what? So from somewhere you are getting all of your users, right? Similarly, you are posting users here. Similarly, you are getting some specific user here. So you can see that the lines are very much to do a very simple operation, okay? And obviously you might be having hundreds of APIs in your backend. So it's very complicated if you are not using Express.js. Here you can see it's just plain Node.js code, and I haven't taught this very much to you because it's not that much important. You can see that it's taking a lot space and way more confusing. Okay, so the better approach is to actually use Express.js. Okay, so okay, I'll just change the name. I'll just change the name as without Express. Okay, without Express, and I would create another file which actually uses Express.js. Okay, so now I'm writing the same code, but it's written on Express.js. So you can see that it's way more easier now. So it's just returning users. Okay, it's returning all users. It's allowing me to add a user using post request. It's returning a specific user. So you can see that it's way more easier. If I talk about normally, you can see that this is very difficult to read, right? And it's way more easier, right? If anyone is a beginner, they can also easily understand things here, right? So that's the benefit. So you can see there is an empty array of users, and I'm just first of all trying to, if I call this post method, that means I want to post data. So I told this previously, but again I would repeat in some other video when we are creating these APIs. Right now I'm just explaining the difference. Okay, we are going to understand the code completely later on, but right now you can see that yeah, this is the get API, this is the post API, and this is again the get API. So it's very easy to judge you, right? If anyone has a very basic knowledge what is a get API, post API, delete API, patch API, then they can easily judge which API is doing what task. But here it's a very confusing thing because again, here the methods are listed, but things are in nested format and it's very confusing, right? So that's why Express.js is recommended to use as a framework, and it's very popular. Like if you write plain code in Node.js, it's taking more time and obviously more lines and obviously difficult to read. If you are using Express.js, it's easy to read and obviously it's taking very less time to write this code, right? So I hope guys you understood first of all the very basic difference between the normal Node.js code and Node.js with Express.js, right?